Hey there, news enthusiasts! Welcome back to our weekly roundup, where we bring you the latest buzz from around the globe. It's March 6th, 2025. And let's just say, the universe has decided to throw us a few curveballs this week. From a meteor lighting up the sky to a cat food recall causing a pantry panic, we've got a lot to unpack. Oh, and President Trump addressed Congress. Because of course he did. So buckle up, grab your thinking caps, and maybe a can opener for that cat food, and let's dive into the news that mattered this week. Host, let's get started. First up, let's talk about that giant, fiery rock that decided to grace the Midwest with its presence this week. On March 3rd, a meteor blazed across the sky, treating residents near Oscoda, Michigan, to a light show that would put any 4th of July fireworks display to shame. This celestial event was so bright, it was spotted by people from Indiana to Ontario. Eyewitnesses described it as breathtaking, like something out of a movie. Some even joked it was a sign that aliens are finally coming to take them away. But jokes aside, this meteor was a good reminder that sometimes, even in the midst of chaos, there's still beauty to be found. So, the next time you're feeling down, just remember, at least you're not a meteor burning up in the atmosphere. Alright, cat owners, gather round. Wild Coast Raw has issued a voluntary recall of its frozen boneless free-range chicken formula cat food. This recall is about a potential contamination with the highly pathogenic avian influenza H5N1, also known as bird flu. This is a highly contagious and potentially deadly virus that can spread from birds to other animals, including our beloved feline companions. One pet has passed away, and at least 2 others have been infected. So if you have any Wild Coast Raw frozen boneless free-range chicken formula cat food in your pantry, particularly lot number 22660 with a best buy date of December 2025, throw it out. And by throw it out I mean seal it up tight, double bag it, and maybe even perform a small exorcism on it for good measure. Because when it comes to the health and well-being of our feline overlords, it's always better to be safe than sorry. And trust me, the last thing you want is a sick cat and a hefty vet bill on your hands. Well folks, it looks like Mother Nature is about to unleash her icy wrath on the UK. Meteorologists are predicting a sudden stratospheric warming above the Arctic by mid-March. This meteorological phenomenon often heralds a dramatic shift in weather patterns. And by dramatic shift I mean prepare for a blast of winter weather that will make you question whether spring will ever actually arrive. The polar vortex is like that one friend who's always a bit unpredictable. They're usually content to hang out up north, minding their own business. But every now and then, they decide to shake things up a bit and go on a little trip south. So, while the rest of Europe is busy planning their spring gardens, the UK might be digging out their winter coats and stocking up on hot chocolate. Because when the polar vortex comes to town, you've got to be prepared for anything. Well folks, he's back. And by he, I mean former President Donald Trump, who graced us with his presence once again this week by delivering an address to a joint session of Congress on March 4th. Now I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, hasn't this already happened? Didn't we already endure 4 long years of Trump speeches? And to that I say yes you did. But apparently once wasn't enough for the man who seems to believe that the only thing better than the sound of his own voice is the sound of his own voice amplified through a microphone and broadcast to millions of people. So what pearls of wisdom did the former president impart upon our elected officials this time around? Well, the specifics are still being analyzed, debated, and probably turned into a series of increasingly unhinged tweets as we speak. But one thing's for sure, the speech was classic Trump. It was long on rhetoric, short on specifics, and packed with enough self-promotion to make even the most shameless Instagram influencer blush. So, let's just agree to keep an eye on the news, brace ourselves for the inevitable fallout, and hope that the next time Trump decides to address Congress, he does it via Zoom from a golf course somewhere far, far away. Amidst all the political drama and celestial shenanigans, let's take a moment to focus on a story that truly tugs at the heartstrings: the search for missing 2-year-old Dane Paulson. This little boy, full of life and undoubtedly with a mischievous twinkle in his eye, vanished near the Siletz River in Oregon on March 1st. Imagine the fear, the desperation, the sheer helplessness that Dane's family must be experiencing. But even in the face of such unimaginable heartache, there's a glimmer of hope. Because the community, determined to bring Dane home safe and sound, has rallied together in an inspiring display of compassion and solidarity. Over 100 volunteers have been combing through nearly 700 acres of rugged terrain. Drones buzz overhead, their cameras scanning the landscape for any sign of the missing toddler. Divers brave the chilly depths of the river, and K9 units follow every scent, every lead, no matter how faint. And while the outcome remains uncertain, one thing is abundantly clear: this community will not rest until Dane is found. Alright folks, let's shift gears now and talk about a topic that's been dominating headlines for weeks: the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. As the situation continues to evolve, so too does the United States' role in providing support and aid. The US has been pouring billions of dollars into Ukraine, providing military equipment, humanitarian assistance, and economic support. But as peace negotiations sputter and stall, the question of how long this level of aid can be sustained is becoming increasingly pressing. Enter Vice President J.D. Vance, who, in a recent statement, emphasized the importance of aligning US aid with the ultimate goal of achieving a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Now, you might be thinking, well, duh, Jerome, isn't that the point of all this? And you'd be right, of course, but the devil, as they say, is in the details, because what constitutes a peaceful resolution and how to best achieve it are matters of intense debate. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, and one that will undoubtedly continue to be debated and discussed for months, if not years to come. Let's take a break from the doom and gloom, shall we? And what better way to do that than with a trip down under to Australia, where the housing market is hotter than a shrimp on the Barbie. That's right, folks. While some parts of the world are grappling with housing shortages and sky-high prices, Australia is experiencing a building boom of epic proportions. New home approvals have surged, particularly in New South Wales, where apartment projects are popping up faster than kangaroos on a caffeine binge. First, interest rates remain relatively low, making it more attractive for people to take out mortgages and buy their dream homes. Second, the Australian economy is relatively strong, with low unemployment and a growing population, which means more people are in a position to buy homes. So if you're looking for a place to invest in real estate, Australia might just be the ticket. And finally, let's hop back across the globe to the UK, where the political landscape is undergoing a bit of a shakeup. First up, we have the departure of Sir Nick Clegg, former Deputy Prime Minister, and the man who once held the thankless job of trying to keep the peace during the coalition government. After nearly 7 years, Clegg has announced he's leaving his cushy job at Meta, the parent company of Facebook. But Clegg's departure is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to UK political drama. Because over in the Labour Party things are about as harmonious as a choir of screeching cats. 20 Labour councillors in Nottinghamshire have decided to stage a mass exodus, resigning in protest of the party's direction under Sir Keir Starmer. These disgruntled councillors, who will now sit as independents, claim that Starmer's leadership has alienated them and that the party has lost touch with its working-class roots. So, while the Conservative Party is busy trying to figure out who their next leader will be, the Labour Party is dealing with its own internal squabbles. It's enough to make you wonder if there's something in the water over there. And that's a wrap on this week's News Roundup. We've traversed the globe, from meteor showers in Michigan to political shakeups in the UK. We've explored the complexities of international relations and the heartwarming stories of community resilience. Remember, staying informed is crucial, especially in a world where information overload can be overwhelming. So, take a moment to process what you've learned, engage in thoughtful discussions, and continue to seek out diverse perspectives. Hosts, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you next week.